Take two. Good morning, everybody, or evening, I guess, depending on when you're reading this. I'm burning the midnight oils and trying to figure out YouTube again, so I'm sorry if there's any technical difficulties, but I think I have it. Anyways, I really enjoyed last week, and I'm looking forward to this week. So, in short, just kind of a recap of what this week is. We're supposed to pick a biblical or mythical person who fits within our myth. I guess would be the best way to look at that as summary. Last week, just as a recap, I chose the myth of rejection. And once again, the myth of rejection. I'm going to read directly from the book, so excuse me while my eyes go away. The myth of rejection is the belief that you are unwanted, even unwelcome in life. And I talked about that myth and how that affected my life. Basically, and in my personal life too, dealing with that. And so I thought, now while I understand it could be a stretch, that the Apostle Paul would be a great biblical tie-in here, man. And I know it's a stretch, but I want to take this time to defend my rationale, as it were. So, of course, the Apostle Paul is an apostle, right? And we all, as biblical scholars, know that the most obvious thing, Paul wasn't a part of the 12. Okay, he never, walked the streets with Jesus, so to speak. Obviously, he was knocked off his horse and saw Jesus, encountered, and that's kind of his arguments for his apostleship. But we see these um, Paul basically happened to defend himself throughout his writings about how he is an apostle. We also know through biblical scholarship that Paul had issues, or there was conflict between him and the Jerusalem church, right? And so the Jerusalem church sometimes rejecting, his theology or whatever. And so I think this is important because despite the mountains that were put against Paul, the rejection that he felt from the Roman society, right? Obviously throwing him in jail and those kinds of things. Paul is able, of course, to have a tremendous impact on Christian history. In fact, I would deduce that it's through Paul and his movement to the Gentiles that the Christian church began to spread, because the Christian church didn't really, get that much steam in the Jewish community as it would eventually in the Gentile community. I mean, I think it's incredible what Paul was able to do, but he's able just to trust in God and trust in that apostleship and to trust in his call. And I just think that's incredible that Paul is able to use his gifts for God and really just not concerned about, you know, what others think about him, about the fact that people are rejecting him, people are going against his teaching. I mean, Paul essentially says that he doesn't care about the world. The world isn't judging him, but God is. And so I just find Paul to be an incredible example of this. And I think for me personally, I know I'm going beyond the assignment, but I think for me personally, reading Paul and getting familiar with his history, I think can help me for a source of encouragement. I just think rejection and the myth of rejection, so many of our great biblical heroes, I guess, or biblical our ancestors, our church ancestors, dealt with this issue. I don't think it's unique to me. I don't think, and I think if we look at the Bible, I think almost in our major heroes, we'll see, or major characters, I guess we'll see there's a rejection component. I mean, right? Whether it's through their society or through whatever, right? And so I think Paul is an example of this. And once again, I thank you for taking the time to hear my video. Hopefully, we'll have better technology in the future, but God bless, and I look forward to responding to your videos. Thank you, or your posts. Sorry.